Reporting from Arkham Asylum, this is Gotham Rogues. In this video we take a look at forgotten Batman villain Clayface III. Throughout his near 80-year-old existence, Batman has faced countless enemies. Some of these have gone on to stand among the most infamous fictional villains in pop culture history, while others have completely vanished into obscurity. First up in this series of forgotten Bat Rogues is Preston Payne, aka Clayface III. Yes, there's actually been several villains in the Batman universe who went by the name Clayface. The first was created in 1940 and he was Basil Karlo, a has-been actor known for his role as Clayface in the horror movie The Terror. When Karlo learned that a remake was being made of The Terror, he snapped and started killing off the new cast and crew while wearing his Clayface costume. The second Clayface, created in 1961, was named Matt Hagen. He was a small-time crook who accidentally gained a clay-like body and shape-shifting abilities after bathing in a radioactive pool of protoplasm. This brings us to the third Clayface, Preston Payne, the star of this video. Payne made his first appearance in a two-part story which was published in Detective Comics number 478 and 479 in 1978. The writer of the story was Wein and the artist was Marshall Rogers. Preston was introduced as a brilliant yet hideously deformed scientist working at Star Labs in Gotham City. Due to his appearance and introverted personality, he had been shunned by everyone around him throughout his entire life. All the doctors he had visited claimed that there was nothing that could be done about his medical condition, so Payne decided to find his own cure. He contacted Matt Hagen, the second Clayface, in prison and asked for a sample of his blood. Preston theorized that if he injected himself with Hagen's blood, he would be able to shape his own flesh into anything he wanted, including a normal-looking handsome man. Seeing as Hagen had nothing to lose on the deal, he agreed to it. At first, the procedure seemed to be a success, and Payne got to experience the company of a beautiful woman for the very first time. Unfortunately, that's when everything went wrong. Payne's eyes didn't hold, and instead he started to rapidly melt away. It was only stopped by grabbing onto the woman, who then melted in his place. The procedure had been a complete failure, and Payne realized that his flesh was in a state of constant melting, which could only be temporarily stopped by touching another person, thus transferring the affliction. Being a genius, Preston managed to construct an exoskeleton suit, which helped hold him intact. It wasn't enough though, and he still frequently experienced sudden melting attacks, which forced him to make contact with some unlucky soul. Payne usually chose the undesirable, such as homeless people, as his hapless victims. The horrifying situation in which Preston found himself in drove him deranged to the point of experiencing severe delusions and hallucinations. He even started to believe that a store mannequin, which he called Helena, was a real living woman, and he fell in love with her. Helena was, after all, the only person who didn't die from his touch. Despite his insanity, Payne worked on finding a cure for his grotesque condition. However, lurking around and melting people left and right is just the sort of thing that'll land you on Batman's naughty list. The two eventually fought, which hampered Preston's research progress. He was no easy match though, and gave the Dark Knight a serious run for his money, proving himself as one of the deadliest foes Batman had ever faced. After this 1978 two-parter, Payne made no major appearances at all until Batman Annual number 11, which was released in 1987. This issue contained a story named Mortal Clay, written by acclaimed writer Alan Moore and penciled by George Freeman. Moore told a tale of tragic comedy that had Payne hiding out in a mall together with Helena. During the days, Preston stayed hidden, but at night time after closing hours, he came out and lurked around the shops, stealing food and interacting with his wife. However, due to Payne's delusions, he started to believe that Helena was having an affair with the Night Watchman. That didn't end so well for the Night Watchman. Unfortunately for Preston, his actions alerted the attention of the law and Batman. With mortal clay, Alan Moore managed to deliver a powerful story that's haunting, hilarious, sad, and disturbing all at the same time. I think it's pretty safe to say that it is Preston Payne's finest appearance. After that, Payne appeared in Mudpack, a 4-part story published in Detective Comics in 1989. That story was written by Alan Grant and penciled by Norm Breyfogle. It featured all of the Clayfaces teaming up to take on Batman together. Preston also found a new love in Sandra Fuller, the 4th, and at the time, the latest Clayface. 1989 also saw Payne appearing in the graphic novel Arkham Asylum, written by Grant Morrison and painted by Dave McKean. Although he only had a small cameo in it, this is probably his most well-known appearance due to the graphic novel's popularity. Writer Grant Morrison chose to portray Payne's condition as a metaphor for the AIDS epidemic, which was causing major panic throughout the world in the late 80s. In the following years, Preston only made a couple of big appearances, including one story where he and Sandra Fuller had a baby together. And then in 2009, he was arbitrarily killed off in the Justice League Cry for Justice miniseries. He hasn't appeared in any comics since then, and it doesn't look like he's going to return anytime soon. Preston Payne has never made any appearances outside of the comic books, not even in any of the numerous Batman cartoon shows. Although I suppose that's understandable, as a horrifying character such as Clayface III isn't really suitable for TV shows mainly aimed towards children. I do hope he returns someday though, preferably in another medium besides comics. He's actually one of my favorite Bat-rogues, as he's both scary as hell, yet also tragic, sympathetic, and even funny in an absurd way. Now that I think of it, maybe Gotham would be the perfect place for him. So there you have it. That's the story of forgotten Batman villain Preston Payne, aka Clayface III. Join me at Arkham Asylum again sometime for some more rogueness.